Welcome back to Global News, your go-to source for the biggest updates from the USA and across the globe. Today, we are counting down the most impactful news stories you need to know right now. Before we jump in, make sure to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe so you never miss a world update. Let's get started with number 10. Today, first news, Pakistan faces a looming power crisis as plummeting LNG supplies and coal shortages threaten 30% of its electricity generation. With LNG nearing zero and logistics failures, particularly disputes between Pakistan Railways and coal plants, jeopardizing up to 1,800 megawatts, the national grid is under extreme duress. The government plans daily 2 to 3 hour load shedding and tariff hikes to manage the shortfall. However, critics argue this strategy ignores simple conservation measures like mandatory early market closures, placing the adjustment burden heavily on households and industry. Domestic mismanagement, rather than just external shocks, is severely exacerbating the instability. Without urgent, intelligent demand management and the resolution of avoidable logistical bottlenecks, the system remains dangerously reactive, ensuring that the economic costs of this energy shortfall will continue to escalate. Next news. Ukraine faces funding crisis as lawmakers delay crucial reforms. President Volodymyr Zelensky has issued an urgent appeal to lawmakers to pass a critical legislative package next week, warning that a failure to do so could trigger a financial collapse. With a $52 billion annual financing gap, Ukraine is critically behind on reforms required to unlock billions in EU and World Bank aid. Economists warn that without these legislative breakthroughs, which include judicial and energy sector reforms, government funds could run dry as early as May. While Zelensky's party holds a majority, souring relations and political infighting have stalled progress. With Hungary blocking major loan tranches and Russia benefiting from rising oil prices, the upcoming votes on April 7th and 8th are seen as vital to maintaining Ukraine's wartime economy. Next news. Trump eyes Gusher profit. President vows to open Hormuz and take the oil. Washington. President Donald Trump sparked fresh volatility on Friday, April 3rd, by asserting the US could soon reopen the Strait of Hormuz and make a fortune by seizing regional oil. His social media declaration follows 5 weeks of intense conflict, where an effective Iranian blockade of the vital choke point has sent global energy markets into a tailspin. Despite the bravado, the administration's strategy appears inconsistent. While the president threatens to strike Iranian civilian infrastructure, reports suggest he has privately signaled a willingness to conclude the military campaign even if the waterway remains closed. Meanwhile, as Washington leans on unilateral military pressure, global powers, excluding the US, are pursuing diplomatic channels to restore freedom of navigation and secure maritime trade. Next news. Jerusalem. Israeli President Isaac Herzog held a high-level discussion with Pope Leo XIV on Friday, April 3, 2026, to exchange holiday greetings and address the escalating conflict across West Asia. Amid the Passover and Easter season, the leaders focused on the volatile situation involving Iran and Lebanon. President Herzog denounced recent Iranian missile strikes near Jerusalem, labeling the regime a threat to all faiths. He urged international cooperation to combat rising anti-Semitism, emphasizing the need to neutralize Hezbollah's influence to ensure stability for both Israeli and Lebanese civilians. The Vatican confirmed that Pope Leo XIV called for renewed diplomatic dialogue to secure a lasting peace. Both leaders underscored the critical importance of protecting civilian populations and adhering to international humanitarian law as the regional war enters its second month. Next news. Abu Dhabi. 12 people, including 5 Indian and 6 Nepali nationals, were injured in the Ajban area of Abu Dhabi on Friday, April 3, 2026. The injuries occurred when debris from intercepted Iranian missiles and drones fell to the ground following a successful interception by the UAE's air defense systems. According to the Abu Dhabi media office, while most injuries were minor to moderate, 1 Nepali national sustained serious wounds. Emergency teams were promptly deployed to secure the area and provide medical assistance. This incident follows a broader, ongoing regional conflict that has intensified since late February. UAE authorities continue to urge the public to rely exclusively on official sources for updates and to avoid spreading unverified information during this period of heightened tension. Next news. The People's Bank of China, PBOC, announced Thursday that it has authorized 12 additional banks to operate within the digital yuan ecosystem, marking a significant expansion of the country's central bank digital currency, CBDC initiative. The newly designated operators, which include China CITIC Bank, China Everbright Bank, and Huaxia Bank, will soon integrate with the central bank's core digital yuan infrastructure. According to official statements, these institutions will begin offering e-services to the public once all technical and operational configurations are finalized. This strategic expansion aims to bolster the inclusivity and efficiency of currency while meeting growing consumer demand for secure payment alternatives. The PBOC emphasized that diversifying the pool of operators will encourage market participation and foster ongoing innovation within the digital finance sector. Next news. SpaceX targets historic $2 trillion valuation ahead of potential June IPO. Elon Musk's SpaceX is reportedly eyeing a valuation exceeding $2 trillion as it prepares for what could be the largest initial public offering in history. Company advisors are currently floating this ambitious figure to prospective investors ahead of critical briefings scheduled for the coming weeks. This valuation marks a significant surge from the $1.25 trillion figure reported in February following the acquisition of Musk's AI firm xAI. If achieved, SpaceX would surpass the market capitalization of tech giants like Meta and Tesla, trailing only a handful of the world's most valuable companies. The company has reportedly filed confidentially for an IPO that may occur as early as June. This massive market debut is expected to raise approximately $75 billion, dwarfing previous records held by Saudi Aramco. Funds from the offering are intended to finance Musk's visionary projects, including the construction of AI data centers in space and the establishment of a manufacturing facility on the moon. Leading global financial institutions, including Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan, have been tapped for senior roles in the offering, as the company prepares for an analyst briefing later this month. Next news. Military leader Min Aung Hlaing, elected president of Myanmar following controversial vote. Former junta chief General Min Aung Hlaing was elected president of Myanmar on Friday following a parliamentary vote widely condemned by the international community. The transition comes after elections held in December and January, which the United Nations and Western governments dismissed as a sham intended to solidify military control. To participate in the vote, the 69-year-old leader officially stepped down as commander-in-chief earlier this week, handing military command to his close ally Ye Win-u. The military-aligned Union Solidarity and Development Party secured over 80% of the seats, ensuring a smooth path to his presidency. Min Aung Hlaing has served as the de facto leader of Myanmar since orchestrating the 2021 coup that ousted the government of Aung San Suu Kyi. While he now holds the formal title of president, analysts view the shift as a technical adjustment rather than a substantive change in the country's power structure. Myanmar remains locked in a devastating civil war that has claimed nearly 93,000 lives and displaced 3.6 million people. Internationally, Min Aung Hlaing remains a deeply polarizing figure, previously facing widespread condemnation for the 2017 crackdown on the Rohingya minority, before seizing total control of the state 5 years ago. Next news. Italian Prime Minister Meloni visits Gulf region to secure energy ties. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni arrived in Saudi Arabia on Friday for an unannounced diplomatic mission that includes high-level meetings in Qatar and the United Arab Emirates. This visit marks the first time a European Union leader has traveled to the region since major conflict escalations involving the United States and Israel began in late February. According to government sources, the trip serves to reaffirm Italy's support for these Gulf nations following recent Iranian attacks on their territories. A central goal of the mission is to bolster Italy's national energy security through strategic engagement with major oil and gas producers. By strengthening these partnerships, Meloni aims to stabilize supply chains and deepen economic cooperation amid ongoing regional volatility. Next news. Tibet Museum exhibits 1947 documents to assert independent historical status. The Tibet Museum has inaugurated the Frontier Diplomacy exhibition, featuring two 1947 letters from the 14th Dalai Lama to British diplomat Sir Basil Gould. These documents, discovered by Gould's grandchildren, request assistance for a Tibetan trade delegation to visit 10 different nations. Museum officials and Gould's descendants state this correspondence proves Tibet operated as a sovereign entity capable of independent diplomacy before Chinese intervention. The exhibition draws from historical records spanning 1912 to 1945. Sikyong Penpa Tsering emphasized that these archives provide eyewitness evidence of Tibet's status as a free state during the early 20th century. By highlighting these archives, the museum aims to counter China's historical claims and educate the public on Tibet's diplomatic history.